guys that are right here with us right now. The Pacquiaos, the Tim Bradleys, the top level guys that are here right now.
What do you think, Shawn? Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I think he looked very impressive against Adrien, but again, Adrien has not, been the guy that, we saw when he fought Provodnikov, fighting through a storm and winning that fight. So, like my dad said, it's a hard measuring stick to put it up against when you look at Chris Adrien, but an impressive victory on Errol's part. But me as a fighter, like I was just telling somebody, I'm not a matchmaker, so y'all just tell me when I got to fight. That's what I
been in there. You already been in there with Kell Brook, and now he's real close to being Kell Brook's mandatory. Mm-hmm. How does that fight play out?
I think he beats Kell Brook. I think that he's got everything that it takes. He's a very good fighter. And I'm not the one to judge whether or not he's ready. Only he can do that. Only his team can do that. So they put him in the ring with Kell Brook. We'll see what happens.
Shawn, you have a date and a time and a place now for your matchup with Keith Thurman. Do you feel a sense of relief now that that's been finalized?
No sense of relief. Just a sense of anything, urgency to be ready, urgency to do what we thought we were going to do in March and the months before that. So that's it. I just feel a sense of wanting to do this and being there in the ring and doing it against one of the best, Keith Thurman.
And how do you like the venue, the Barclays, as opposed to the West?
Love the venue. Love the venue. Yeah, we moved to Vegas to fight in Vegas, but if we're not fighting in Vegas, I wouldn't love to fight anywhere else other than the Barclays. That's a great arena to fight at.
LA's nice.
You got some sparring wars. Who have you invited to spar with you for camp?
Nobody yet for this one. We're still hashing out out.
Is that Dad with his jab?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh no. No, man, it's just I bit it and it just irritated it and got up.
So, who you think about bringing into camp?
That's him.
Dad. Who do you think about bringing into camp?
We're going to keep the two guys we started off the last camp with. They did a really good job. Brandon Adams, 18-2, and Brandon Lynch. And then we're gonna sprinkle some other guys in. I haven't decided who that will be as of yet, but we're gonna look for some even rougher, tougher guys than those guys. I don't expect that we'll have one game plan. We'll probably have multiple game plans for this fight and multiple strategies for this fight because I spend enough time with Keith. I spend enough time with him in the amateurs. I spend enough time with him in the pros, in camps, things like that. So I know that he's been scouting Shawn. I saw an interview he did, and I was like, damn, he's the first person got it right. He really hit it on the head. Either that, or he's got a great publicist because somebody really put down a good, basically a synopsis of what Shawn Porter would do in a fight. So we're going to use different guys because we're going to be looking for different looks, multiple looks from those guys. We might even bring in a southpaw.
You mentioned amateur, and at one point of your career, you were like a father figure or uncle to Adrien Broner. What are your thoughts on Adrien Broner now, and what does he need in his career and/or in his life?
With him being indicted.
Him just getting out of jail yesterday or something.
He may do some real time.
Because but see, that goes from boxing, it becomes personal. And you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into
I wouldn't on the positive. I wouldn't talk about the negative side.
No, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just even when you speak on and when you say anything about anyone that be on a personal level, they get offended. You know what I mean? So, the best thing I could say, anything that I could do, I would always do it for him, whatever that is. He's got, some good people that love him in place, but, that's not always the best thing for you as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that love him, but they're not allowed to come around. Just not allowed to come around. Point blank and simple. There's a time and a place for everything. And obviously now the time and the place for him to put that stuff behind him is now. Look for a fresh new start and try to do things, the right way. So, I'm wishing him well. If anything I could do for him, I would do that, But, he got some situations, he got some fights outside of the ring. He got to fight his way through them now.
When you look at this fight with Thurman,
Do you anticipate it to be a harder fight than the Brook fight, or kind of on the same level?
Nah, you know what? I think Keith's gonna fight more than Brook did. You know, Brook's game plan: grab and hold Shawn, grab and hold, grab and hold, grab and hold, grab and hold. You know what I mean? That I highly doubt that Keith's gonna try to do that. I'm sure it's going to be a harder fight, more exciting fight than the Brook fight, and we're going to try to make it much more exciting and than the Brook fight. So moving forward here, getting closer to June 25th date, we'll crank up everything. We will have a lot of our guys actually doing a lot of clinching and holding as well. But yeah, we're going to be prepared for a lot more from him than we had to prepare for that guy.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. From my perspective, it's just a matter of this fight's gonna be much better for me. A lot of things that I lacked against Kell Brook, I won't lack in this fight. You know, one of those key things being intelligence. I wasn't intelligent through 12 rounds of fighting Kell Brook. Yeah, I applied pressure. Yeah, I think I won, but it just wasn't enough, and I know where. I didn't have enough, and it was definitely from the mental aspect, the focus aspect, the listening to the corner aspect, and being intelligent in the ring. And I look to be all of that against Keith Thurman.
What do you think about, ever since Kell Brook fought you, he hasn't fought anyone as tough as you, and meanwhile you're taking on Keith Thurman? What do you think about what that says about you as a welterweight?
You know what? I think only thing that says is it says exactly what I wanted to say when I'm done with this sport. I want everybody to know that I tried to fight the best, and I tried to give them my all. And I want them to remember, obviously, I'm a hard hitter. I'm a great competitor, you know. But along with that, you also had the guys that baby their belts. And I think, if anything, that's what we can see Kell Brook is doing. So, but at any rate, he's got the belt, not me. So my job is to go out there and get another one.
Yeah, how funny is this? As soon as they start talking about Errol Spence fighting him, immediately they find somebody else for Errol to have to fight before he can even get near the guy. So, I mean, you know, the guy has no interest. Anyone with common sense can see that guy is not interested in fighting the top level of competition. You know, he's just not. He took that belt, he took it home, and he's gonna fight guy after guy that, you know, looks to be advantageous to him, but he doesn't want to step up. He doesn't want to take on top level competition.
Stated he's willing to fight Golovkin. I'm not too sure how serious he is, but he stated before.
We can only go by what we've seen. We can't go by what he's saying. So what we've seen, nothing.
Shawn, Porter, can the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors?
Yes, they can.
How and why?
Yes, they can. You know what? I honestly, now here's the thing: when it comes to football and it comes to my Browns, you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
When it comes to basketball, or any other sport, I'm just kind of like, all right, yeah, whatever. But okay. I really do have a good feeling about this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that they're gonna pull it together. They'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm gonna just stay on this topic for a second because it's so hot, and that's I cover basketball as well. Charles Barkley made a statement about LeBron James' hairline. What advice would you get? Should LeBron go bald, or should he just keep it the way it is?
He must not like something that's underneath that hair. It must be some dents or some grooves that we ain't seeing that he ain't happy with, because it makes sense for him to get rid of it. But they'll throw the headband on and call it a day. You know?
Shawn, after your Tyner exhibition, the whole idea behind that was to kind of have like a fight atmosphere, stuff like that, kind of reset. Do you really feel that you kind of got that, kind of taking time off?
Yeah, you know what, honestly, the thing I was most satisfied with that exhibition was the chemistry that my dad and I were afforded to have in the ring. There are times when you in the gym and you're training, things may get intense. They may, he'll stop a training session for 5 minutes, and then, we're 5 rounds in, 6 rounds in. We may keep going or we may not keep going, This was an opportunity for us to connect and keep it moving no matter what, In the actual fight, something goes wrong, you got to fix it on the spot and keep it moving. Fortunately enough, nothing was going wrong, but we were still able to, see each other breathe and, be in that fight atmosphere, that fight mode, And that's what the most satisfaction I got from that night was being able to have that chemistry that night with my dad.
And Kenny, you told me that night that the reason you brought Tyner in was because you did so much work with with Thurman, and that you were going to keep him around. Is he coming back?
I can't say that because, Shawn handled him very easily that night, and I expected more out of him. But going into it, we thought he was the guy. He was the guy that stepped up. He had numerous camps with Floyd, and he also had camps with Thurman. So we'll kind of explore that as well. But we got out of it, like he said, we got out of it a lot of things between us, and giving him the opportunity to let it all hang out and then be done with it, and then take a little vacation, which he did, very small one, and come back to work, and then go back and do a little bit more and come back to work. So it worked out really well for us.
Hey, Kenny, at one point, the Thurman brought in your son to spar when the HBO was going to have the Maidana fight. What do you think they seen in Shawn Porter, why they wanted that style for Maidana when he was prepping for that fight?
No, he never brought us in to spar. That's not what happened. Both of us had situations going on where we couldn't get no work, and we was using Adrien for a sparring partner, and Adrien was running from Shawn, and I was like, hey, look, I got to get out of here. We can't use Adrien. And it's like, well, you've worked with Keith in the amateurs, so you want to go down there. So that was my choice to go down there. But then we ran into the same situation with Keith. He didn't want to sit still for the 3 weeks we was down there. So we fully expect a lot of movement on fight night from him, because that's what we've that's what we've seen, and that's what we expect.
So what makes his style so difficult for fighters?
I think a lot of guys they try to pick up his rhythm, and they can't do that. They get caught up with his feet trying to catch up to him, and he gets guys off balance. That won't happen here. Simple as that.
Yeah, if you put two elite level basketball players on the basketball court together, and they're playing a one-on-one game, they're hustling, they're chasing, they're moving each other, they stand with each other the whole way. One guy's blocking one guy's shot, one guy's making a shot, the other guy's making a shot. They're doing all the things that they do, and they're raising their levels. Well, what happened with Keith in the previous competition of the last 3 fights, being guys age total up like 108 years combined, nobody could keep up with him or move with him or do things with him. So our last 3 guys was Broner, Brook, and Broner, and I think they were 25, 26, and 26 years of age. So, there's a huge difference in competition there as far as, the age and competition there as far as the abilities. Broner won, I guess, 4 titles now at this point. Brook is still undefeated to this point. So, Keith's got a hell of a fight coming up.
Shawn, talking about those sparring sessions, what do you remember about them? Why do you think it was that Thurman started kind of running around on you?
I think that was his game plan for Maidana, that he had the box, and I think he caught that trying to spar with me. He caught that, I need to move against his guy. And so I think, that was his game plan for Maidana, but it also ended up being what he had to do against me as well. So, but I don't know how long ago that was, but man, that's sparring. That ain't a fight. That ain't a big night. That ain't the Barclays and all that. When you add all that into the picture, who's really ready? I know I will be.
How much happier are you that it is at the Barclays instead of like a Connecticut, like how it was before?
No knock against Connecticut, but I'll be honest. I wanted it in Vegas. I knew it wasn't gonna happen in Vegas. He feels that that's my home, and so I may have some type of favor there. But me personally, I don't think I would. But going to the Barclays, man, it's for me. I'm gonna close my eyes when I get there, man, and just imagine the first time I won my title there, and do it again. You got it, man.
Yeah, I didn't tell y'all this, but we relocating to the Barclays. We're going to New York and become New York residents. So we already got some things set up with the Boys and Girl Clubs, with the public school system. We're going to be doing some open workouts with kids and all that kind of stuff like that. So on fight night, he's still going to be coming to our hometown.
to take the hyperbaric chamber with you?
Nah, we're not taking that. We're going to get as much out of that as we can get before we leave.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Louis.